Okay, now I'm live, I think. I thought I went live, but then I didn't. I was talking to no one for about a minute or two. Does it keep cutting off? What's going on? Can you guys hear me out there? Anybody see me? Am I good? Am I good? Can anybody see me? Let me know in the chat. Hi, Blue Moon, what's going on? Anybody? Okay, we got people now. All right. Before, I don't know, I thought I went live, didn't I? How do you paint a mountain with two colors? Well, you use two colors and then you paint a mountain. No one has joined the chat. All right. Thanks for tuning in, no one. What's going on, Brent? Blue Moon can hear me and see me. Sweet. All right, Brian, what's happening? All right, I thought I went live. I clicked the go live button on YouTube. I was talking for like a minute and no one was showing up. So, okay, we're good now. So check it out. I'm going to be painting and drawing. Well, I'm going to draw this first and I'm going to paint it. Cool. How's the mic sound? I think I tried to turn it up for this stream. I'm kind of getting everything figured out a little bit better. So hopefully the mic is a little bit louder than normal, or at least sounds good. So check it out. Yeah, I'm going to start drawing this, and then Brent can see me, but I'm very tiny. Oh, man. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. All right, cool. We got some people this time, finally. I'm live. So check it out. I'm going to start streaming software says disconnection. Okay, reconnecting successful. I hope you guys can still see me. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. All right. So check it out. This place, this mountain you're seeing here, this is a little, there's actually a town in there behind all those trees. There's a little town back there at the bottom. This is a place called Kirkwood in California. And the town is really only operational in the winter. You know, everybody goes skiing here on this mountain. You can see the trees mostly on the right side of the photo. Here, actually, I'll show you guys the reference again. Mostly on the right side, you can see there's like clear lines you can ski down if there was a bunch of snow. So that's what happens in the winter. So it's mostly a winter town, but I don't go up there in the winter. You can't even drive up there in the winter, so I'm not really sure how people get to this thing in the winter. I guess you just stay there. I don't know. Because they end up closing the road down once it gets a lot of snow. They actually have a gate in the road at one point, and they just close the road. You can't even get back there. So, yeah, pretty interesting. But, so sketching here. I want to take note of some of the shadow areas, even though there's not much shadow in this landscape, which is fine. I mean, so that's really the main shadow right there is on that mountain. And don't worry, folks, I know it's kind of light. It's hard to see what I'm doing here, but I'm going to start painting soon. This is just the sketch, man. This is just the part we have to get through, you know. I want to make sure, I want to leave some snow patches here for sure. And this is what it looked like last weekend. So even in June, this thing has a bunch of snow, a little bit of snow still on it. And it's been pretty hot lately. So probably a month ago, there was still a lot of snow up there. But it's been melting a bit. Hello, Gloria from the UK. Thanks for tuning in. Somebody from Florida, gee whiz, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in. It's a little bit different than the Florida landscape, I guess, huh? So just gonna try to fit everything in here. So I've done a plein air sketch of this last fall on location. Actually, I'll show that real quick. It was pretty cool. This is a little sketchbook I just finished recently. But this is the sketch I did last October 14th, 2019. And this was more in the evening. It was like 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 p.m. And yeah, you can see later in the year there's not much snow at all. A little bit of snow in the shadow, you know, in the shadow area still, where the sun really doesn't ever shine on this area of the mountain. So even in October there was still snow from that January, you know, so pretty cool. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm going for. But I'm going to do this today, the one I'm doing. I'm only going to use 2 colors. The last few painting live streams I did, I only used 2 colors, and I got some really cool effects. So I want to keep exploring that idea a bit by using only 2 colors here. And yep, just trying to get some snow patches here, guys. We're going to start painting this soon. So let's see, we got some dark. This is where the trees start getting darker. Some interesting tree shapes. I'm going to have to just suggest a lot of this stuff. It's just too many trees and things going on. So these trees in the foreground are very important because they really give scale to the rest of the painting. You know, if these are pretty tall pine trees, I don't know how tall these would be, 50 feet or something, you know, it really gives scale to the rest of, you know, if there's a little person down here, which there isn't, you know, would really give scale to this whole thing. But there is like big apartments back here. Might put those in, maybe not. I don't know. Trying to figure it out. Hello, Sheriff from Georgia. Nice to see you on here. I know it's kind of late over there. Thanks for tuning in. Try to get through this quickly. But it is Friday night, so that's cool. That's why I figured I could do a live stream a little bit later today. It's Friday, you know, just kind of relax. All right, a lot of this I'm going to fill in with paint. You know, sketch isn't that important. What's a mountain? Florida doesn't have those either. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Well, I could ask here in California, what's a cloud? Because I haven't seen those in a few months. And I'm probably not going to see them until about, I don't know, November, December, maybe January. It's all good, Brent. Stay on the road, man. Keep driving. No worries. Hopefully you check back in before I'm off here. So maybe I'll take a long time to do this. Okay. So yeah, I feel good about this one. I think I'm gonna use some wax resist on some of the snow areas because I want to make sure I keep those. Sometimes if I'm talking, I'll accidentally paint over what I want to keep white, and that's always happens sometimes. Okay, sometimes happens, sometimes, not always. So we got some snow. So this stuff goes on clear. It's just like a clear crayon. It's just wax. And what it does is it resists the, when I try to paint over it, it's not going to allow the water to go onto the paper. It's not going to allow the water and the color to go on the paper. So it's going to keep it white, but it's going to give some texture, which is pretty cool. It gives a little bit of texture to the edges of, yeah, you'll see anyway. So now I can kind of just paint over the mountain and not worry about the white areas. And this stuff's way better than, I mean, it's different than masking fluid, but it's, in my opinion, it's way better. Masking fluid is such a pain to deal with, and you get these hard lines, hard edges. I mean, masking fluid is definitely useful, but I try to avoid it because I like doing plein air painting, and you can't really use that when you're plein air for the most part. It's just you don't have time to do that stuff. All right. Thanks for watching from Australia. Pretty cool. Prefer traditional mediums or digital art? Procreate versus watercolor. Watercolor all the way, but Procreate is definitely cool too. I definitely use Procreate from time to time. So check it out. What I'm going to be using here, my two colors, I'm going to be using ultramarine blue and transparent red oxide. Transparent red iron oxide. Those are my two colors. So I have transparent red oxide here and here. So I'm going to wet those. And great, I already got a splatter of color on my paper in the sky. Didn't mean to do that. I have ultramarine blue here and here. So those are the two colors I'm going to be using. The reason I'm using those is because when you mix those together, you can get a gray, a black. So hopefully I'll be able to create an interesting painting, because if I want to, I can mix these two colors together and I can get a gray, and then I can warm that gray up with the brown, or I can cool it down with the blue, so I can get a lot of different varieties of grays and colors here, and hopefully it'll create an interesting looking painting. So what's cool is the sky. I can make the sky look basically what it looks like in the photo, ultramarine blue. I can add a little bit of brown to it to gray it down, and then the mountain, I can make it pretty much what it looks like there. I can make it like a brownish gray. And then for the trees, I'm gonna have to really focus on using my grays here for the background. They're a little bit cooler, so I'll use more blue in the trees back here, and then more browns in the trees as I move forward. So I'm really focusing on temperature, I guess, with these two colors. Temperatures and grays. So we'll see if this will happen, if I can do this. I've never really done a painting like this in watercolor with these two colors. I've used other two colors so far. So I'm just gonna wet the sky. We can do some wet into wet, I guess, even though I'm probably only using one color for the sky. Maybe a little bit of brown. We'll warm up some of the sky. We'll see how these colors mix together on the paper. Oh, come on. I have like painting hair on the paper. That's so annoying. Okay. So it looks like alizarin crimson has really stained my brush, because the sky looks a little bit red right now, just with plain water. But that's okay. I'm going to paint some blue into that. Can you guys see that? It's kind of pink looking. I think it's because of my water. I just cleaned my brush with that brown. So let's get the ultramarine blue going. See what this looks like. Nice. So really starting out with some strong color. Using a lot of water though, so hopefully it'll dry off a little bit lighter. Let's see what happens if I just add a little bit of brown here and there. cool. That's cool. That looks cool. I like that. A little bit of warmth in the sky. Anyway, how's everybody doing, man? It's been a while. It's been a little while since I've been doing these live streams. I want to get back into them a little more consistently. Of course, I always say that. So I think in just a minute here, before this completely dries, I'm going to paint into the mountain because I kind of want some of the mountain to bleed into the sky. I always kind of like that effect. I'm trying to really focus on softness more nowadays in my work. So I'm going to pay attention to values here too. So I'm doing the light of the mountain. So when I squint at this, if you guys look at the reference photo, it's kind of hard to see what's darker. Is the sky lighter? Is the mountain lighter? So I think I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna try to keep the sky the lightest thing for the most part. Because with landscapes, that's kind of how it goes. You kind of want the sky to be the lightest thing, other than the snow, of course. So I'm going to vary some of this color as I paint it as well. I'm going to add a little bit more brown into it here and there, warm it up. So like I said, you can see where it's resisting that water. That wax resist I was using. So that's really nice. So then we get some really organic looking. So I'm going to cool this off as it goes down because it gets into those trees, and it's a lot cooler. The trees are darker though. I can see that the trees against the mountain are a bit darker, so I'm able to paint over all of this right now for the first layer. I could probably paint over the rest of the whole thing actually as the first layer, because the trees are darker in value than the mountain. The light of the trees are darker than the light of the mountain. So that's something I do know, or at least that's something I want to keep in my painting. Man, you guys are quiet. What's going on? Anybody alive out there? Anybody got any questions or anything for me? You know, any questions, doesn't matter what, if it's a painting question or what life question or whatever. So let's try to keep this wet. So you see I got a soft edge up there. It's really nice. Got some softness around the mountain, and I can make that a bit harder later on if I want to, especially around the shadow shape. You know, I'm going to be painting over that again. I'm going to add a little coolness down here, back in here. And then down at this bottom, the ground is much lighter than the trees, so I got to keep that in mind. But I do want these trees to be a bit warmer. Oh, someone's driving crazily outside. So we'll keep these trees warmer. Try to anyway. So I'm just trying to keep separation going. This is going to be an interesting challenge for sure. Trying to get this to look decent. Basically trying to get it to look like trees and stuff, even though it's like brown. So that's going to be the challenge. Andre. Yeah, man, I'm planning. Don't worry, I'm making a list, man. I'm planning it out. I'm gonna find some cool subjects for space, but I already had this one planned out, so it was easy for me to do this one today. But for sure, I'm telling you, man, I'll try some space theme stuff for you. I'm definitely cool with that. All right. Okay. Getting some of these dark areas off this wax. Sometimes the water beads up on this wax and it looks dark, so I'm gonna clean that up. All right. I know it looks pretty rough right now, but we're only in the first stage. Everything's pretty soft right now. So it's gonna look a little crazy. That sky really lightened up as it's drying. It's still a little bit wet up there, so that's cool. I like that, and I got some strong color up there as well. So thanks for watching from the Dominican Republic and doing your dishes while you're watching me. Way to get things done, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, this is an interesting painting. So everything is actually pretty gray right now. So what I'm thinking, I'm seeing it in my head now. These trees in the foreground, I'm really gonna use some strong, especially in the shadows, use some strong brown by itself. It's really gonna really create some stronger color. Ever try these 2 color type scenes in Procreate? No, I have not. I haven't used Procreate in a while. I don't have traditional mediums and very little experience with art, but want to be able to, and I have Procreate with Apple Pencil. I have Procreate with Apple Pencil as well. It's really cool to use. I mean, being able to just, you know, pick the color, boom, put it on there. You know, I could show you, well, this is drying actually. That might be something I could show you that I've done. It's pretty cool actually. This might be something maybe you want to try, possibly. Give me a second. Let me grab my iPad. It's like right here. Give me 1 second. So, something I did this like, I don't know, a few years ago in Procreate. I'll pull it up here in a second. I did a few of these. Let me see if I can find them on here. Boom. I did some, this is probably one of my favorite ones, but if you check it out, I did some, so this is a photograph of a painting, like a close-up. Sorry, that color really changed once I put it on here. Let me move this real quick. Yeah, so check this out. I did a, here, let's bring the brightness up or down, up or down. And what I did was I did a master copy, but I didn't like sample any of the colors like this. You know what I mean? Like sampling them. I just used my eye to pick the color and then painted it. So I just tried to see like, okay, what color is that? And I kind of get close to it, as close as I can, and then paint it. And that's what I kind of just do that and try to match the color as best I can. Let's see if I have some other ones. Yeah, here's one I started, but I didn't really finish. So you can see there, just trying to get the main color ideas. Man, the color really looks bizarre on this. Sorry, guys. The color does not look that weird on the actual iPad, but for some reason this camera isn't that the best. There's another one I did. So that's a cool idea to do, just kind of like doing a master study. I'll show one more. There we go. I did this on a plane on a flight to, I think I was going to, I can't remember if I was going to Europe, if I was going to Hawaii. I was going somewhere. But this is like, you know, the actual painting. And then using only my eye to find the color, I pick the, you know, I just try to select the color. Like, okay, the background is like some kind of brownish gray, you know, compared to, you know, just looking at it. And it kind of helps you understand color a bit more, or really try to gauge, like seeing what you're picking a color from what you're seeing. You know, this I painted from life. This was an actual vase sitting on my table, and I painted it from life. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with this digital art. Like, it doesn't have to be, Um, doesn't have to be digital art like everyone thinks, you know. You can really have some fun and paint stuff from life with it. You can do master copies like that where you're just like, I was really challenging myself with color, you know. That's basically what I was doing. But yeah, anyway. Someone said, A Yami said, I tried my hand at watercolor for the first time. It honestly looked like dog vomit. Oh man, yeah, that's kind of what this looks like right now, to be honest, but I'm waiting for it to dry. We're almost dry here, folks. I'm gonna get into the next layer. Hopefully we'll get, once I add in the darks, like more of the middle tone trees and the darker shadows, hopefully we'll get it. You know, it's just something, you never know if it's gonna work. So hopefully it will, especially up here. I knew I'm gonna come in with some sharper shadows, so it's really gonna define the mountain a little bit right here, and then the rest of it can kind of be soft. So more of the focus will be around this area, which is where the contrast is. And you know, we have the snow kind of guiding us around, and then these trees, these lines of trees. See, I lost all the sketching that I did, so I'm gonna have to make up a lot of the trees here as I'm doing it. Yes, I did. Brian asks, did you sketch those first before you color? Yes, I did. Actually, it does have, let me see if I can, it does have a time-lapse feature. Let me see if I can do one of them real quick while this is drying. It's kind of boring because eventually I get really detailed and you can't even see what's changing. But let me do this. I'm going to do this guy. Let me see if I can do the time-lapse real quick. I got to remember how to do that. Video. Time-lapse replay. Okay, before I click it, let me get it in the... So it's not going to take very long, guys, but this is, let me see if I can get it on the time-lapse replay. No, I didn't sketch it first. I went straight with the color. So there you go. I just started out with big shapes, and then I just used color to kind of carve the shapes in there. So you see that I did like his you know, I used the background and then the, so yeah, this one I didn't sketch. I just went straight with the big blocks of color, like as if I was just painting it. And see here, I get so small, it's hard to see like what's happening. But you can see it's changing. You know, I started just focusing more in on the face. Then the background, kind of trying to bring it together. I just carved a bit of his head there from the background. Did you study art or did you just learn it by yourself? I studied graphic design and I had some art classes like during my college, but I didn't go for fine art like this kind of stuff. I learned like computer graphics and things like that. But see, I'm still going, but it's hard, you know, it's hard to see. It's almost done. It's hard to see what's happening because it's such a small details and stuff. And boom, that's as far as I got. So yeah, there's a time lapse. So yeah, that one I just started out with big shapes. I think the other ones too, probably. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to do the other one. This is one of my favorites that I've done. Let me see this real quick. Yeah, just big shapes of color. Because it's digital, so you don't have to worry about... See, I already got the main idea in the first, like, you know, 20 minutes, probably 10 minutes of painting this thing. I already got the whole main idea, the main drawing. May have to shift a little bit. You know, I could see the eyes a little bit more stretched than the actual painting. So I end up fixing the drawing a little bit, but for the most part, I get the main idea in the first few minutes of, you know, the however long this took. I don't even know, but But then I just sit there and do very, very small little adjustments. And I'm sitting there just changing little tiny, little tiny things. You see I'm changing the hair, changing the eye, carving stuff. So it's very small adjustments for the most part. Do I use layers? No, I didn't. So if you see here, probably can't see that. This is all, so this first layer is the photo. That's just the photo reference. And then the other one is just my painting layer, that's all. And then I use the third layer for the little rectangle. But yeah, it's all on one layer here. Just paint. I just use color to either subtract or add to it. It's all on one layer. So yeah, I don't use layers like a cheater, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I did do, oh here we go. I did a bunch more in the past. This one's actually better. This is what I should have shown. Yeah, see? So I've done a bunch of these actually. I didn't even remember. I've done some landscapes. I think I posted some of these on my YouTube already. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see some of these already that I've done. Anyway, guys, let me get back to this watercolor. It should be dry now. Oh yeah, we're pretty much dry. It's a little damp still. But yeah, I'm not saying you have to use a single layer. That's just what I do because that's just what I like doing. I like challenging myself. Just like what I'm doing here. This is a challenge for me, trying to get this painting to look cool with two colors, like that's a challenge. Have I ever tried wood burning? No, I haven't. No worries, you didn't derail my watercolor. It's just I had to wait for this to dry anyway, but hopefully people enjoyed seeing some of that. It's just it's all art, you know what I mean? It's just what kind of means are you using to do the art, that's all. Okay, let's see. Where do I begin? So, let's see. Maybe I'll start painting in the shadow up here. Let's just go for it, And I think it's going to be mostly blue. I'm probably going to put a little bit of brown into it to gray it down. But since it's so far away, I really want to create distance with temperature. So I'm going to use blue mostly to show coolness back here. I'm going to try to be careful here because this is somewhat of the main idea of the painting here is this. But I don't want to get too detailed back here, so we'll try to keep it loose. Try to keep it loose and fun. I really just want to make sure I get that edge against the sky. It doesn't have to be perfect. It is a mountain, so we want it to be have these differences and stuff. Hard edges, soft edges. But this is in the background, so I like that. Okay, we're doing pretty well here. So a little bit of shadows going this way, but they're a little bit lighter. So I'm going to lighten this up with some more water. And we'll start putting in some of these trees, kind of like shadows and trees at the same time over here. So we'll try to put in some smaller little bits there. Try not to get too crazy with it. And too big there, too much. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Trying to get truer color there. There we go. Are you Marco Bucci's cousin? I'll take that as a compliment, actually. Yeah, man, that dude is a really good painter. He inspired me a lot. He's the one that got me into plein air watercolor, actually. He kind of saved me from oil painting outside. So yeah, I wish I could be as good as him, to be honest. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment. No doubt. What is art to you? Is it like these perfect paintings, or is anything art? Man, that's a good question. I think I need to save that for a future discussion. I think what I was thinking about I was thinking of an idea. I don't know if you guys would like this idea. I was thinking about every live stream that ends in 0, so like 60, 70, 80, 90. I think we, instead of doing like a painting or something, we have a discussion. I just do like a chat. And you know, I don't want it to be just solely a chat. Like I can show like books and paintings and stuff. We can talk about art, certain aspects, and we can kind of talk about stuff. And I think that's probably something that would be interesting to talk about, is like, what is art? You know, is modern art good, or is it considered art? You know, should it be considered art? Like a blank canvas with a red line on it or something, should that be considered? You know, I think it's there's a lot of interesting discussions that could be had. Okay, I don't want to mess with that shadow too much anymore. Just trying to make it a bit more interesting here. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. It's somewhat making sense now. I think I made it a little too dark. It's all right. We're going to keep going, though. Keep pushing on. I don't want to mess with it too much anymore. I'm going to try to get some of these tree shapes in here. Try to keep them mostly blue. Somebody else had another question. Last Procreate question. You said add and subtract with color or something to that effect, meaning you change color mix mode? No different mixing modes. I didn't use any crazy modes or anything. I just meant, so like, you saw how I started out with like big shapes like for his head? I just mean carving using the background. So I'd subtract from the head using the background color, and then I can add to the background using the head color. You know, just kind of play around with the edges basically is what I mean. But no, I'm not too big into digital painting. I have played around with some different modes and stuff and getting, you know, stronger colors and using like color dodge and stuff like that. But like for those master copies, my goal was to create a digital painting basically using kind of a traditional, painting it as if I was painting it traditionally, if that makes sense, like a traditional method, even though, you know, I wasn't color mixing or anything like that. It was just thinking in terms of traditional. Hope that makes sense. So what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to get tree shapes in this background, these darker areas. Try not to make it too dark though, because the shadow is actually darker than the trees. So yeah, I'm trying to balance that out here a bit, trying to really pay attention to that. And I'm also trying to leave enough space so that trees in the foreground can be darker as well. Because we need to leave room, some value for the foreground. of course. So I'm trying not to get too caught up in the photograph. I just want to create some of these diagonal lines because it creates a bit of movement in the piece to have some of those in there. This is a bit dark. But I want to keep this kind of simple too. I'm kind of getting too crazy back here. So I want to start warming this up as they get down here. Yeah, see how much darker I can get? I got plenty of room up here to be a bit darker, so I like that. Actually, I have a lot of room to be darker, so. And we're definitely getting some, hopefully you can start to see the difference in temperature now. A lot warmer up close to us, a lot cooler in the background, a little coolness back there. You know, maybe a little bit of warmth in this area just to kind of link these two areas together. You know, we want some warmth back there. Mostly probably in the shadows, which is I'm going to put in next. There's a bit of shadow back here in some of these trees. Do you have some tips on how to paint using watercolors on your channel? I just started learning a few days ago. I mean, yeah, kind of. Just go to my channel and type in watercolor tutorial or watercolor. I mean, I don't know, dude. I got hundreds of videos. I can't remember all of them I've done. Just go check out my channel, man. I got playlists on there. It's all organized on there. Just go check it out. Go put the work in. Put the work in, man. Go do the work. But yeah, I probably have some. I have a few tutorials on there, I think, from a few years ago. Like how to paint a mountain scene or something. There's one on there. I don't really have a bunch of tips. It's more like, the tip is like to paint more. Like you got to just paint more and do more paintings. That's the way you're going to get better. And that's how do as I do, not as I say. Is that backwards? But I think that's backwards, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like just, this foreground's kind of a meadow area, so there's a bunch of like little bushes and stuff and plants and things happening. All right, I kind of like this. This is kind of looking cool. So this is a little too dark, but what I think is going to happen, it looks a lot darker on the camera actually, on the video. It's really not that dark. But I'm going to get really dark up here once this dries. These are going to be a little bit darker, and I'm going to add some more darkness in this area. So hopefully it'll all come together a bit. Noob question, does warm always mean tending towards red? Cool. No, it does not. No, it does not. It's very relative. It's very relative. So you could really say, so for instance, this area, see where it's blue down here, this bluish gray? This bluish gray is warmer than this blue up here. So it all depends on what you're comparing it to. That's how I think about it. Because this bluish gray has more brown in it, has more warmth than the color mixture, the actual mixture. This is ultramarine blue pure. So it's completely blue. This is blue with a little bit of warmth added to it. Does that make sense? So this is warmer. Even though it's bluer, it's warmer. You know, you could even say this shadow here is warmer than this because this has brown in it. It's more gray. That's how I try to think about it. You know, I don't know if that's right or not, but you know, I don't think there's like a right or wrong way to see it. It's just things are relative, you know. You can have a whole bunch of, you know, this is something I actually talked about, or I made a blog post about shadow colors, and I went into real in depth, but there was a photo that had nothing but different kinds of red, oranges, and pinks on a palette of red, oranges, and pinks. And some are cooler than others and some are warmer than others, but they're all red and orange. So how could you have like a cooler red? Well, you know, it's not as warm as the other red. You know, there's less warmth to it. So yeah, that's what I think about it. So I'm just trying to soften some things back there. The shadow, I think that helped a little bit, kind of soften some of the edges. Really help it push it into the background a little bit. We can even soften some of this up here against the sky. So yeah, I think that helped. Still waiting for some of this to dry. But this is coming out pretty cool. This is coming out pretty cool, guys. I'm pretty excited about this. I think I might glaze a little bit of blue over this foreground, just a little bit, because it's maybe a little bit too warm in some areas. But I know I'm going to want the shadows to be almost pure warmth for the most part, at least up in the front. Very, very warm. And then a little bit more blue added into the warmth back here in these shadows. And then should be good. Should be pretty good. And once I take the tape off, this will look a lot cleaner. Should be looking good. All right, I think this is dry enough now. I think I might. Should I switch brushes or should I keep? I'm gonna keep using the big brush. Let's stick with the big brush. Because if I start using a different brush, then it's gonna change the kind of marks I'm making, and I don't want to. I don't know. I just want to keep it consistent looking. So, all right. I don't want to get too detailed back here in the background, so I'm going to try to keep this pretty loose, actually. Just try to create some darker areas, but not too dark, I guess. I'm probably going a little too dark. I want to try to connect these if I can, at least visually, you know. They don't have to actually connect as long as it looks like they're visually connecting. What I don't like is these are parallel. You see that? See these two lines? That's bad. So try to get rid of them. The reason parallel is like static, you know, you always want, see I have like this line here is this angle, and then this line is steeper. You know, I want to create lines that direct you somewhere. I don't want to have parallel lines really, for the most part. That's kind of design theory. You know, creating movement, rhythm. All right, let's not get too carried away with these shadows and stuff. I don't want to put them too sporadically, but I think that's probably wild enough looking. Looks pretty natural. I really don't like this whole line coming down like that. I really need to, I think I need to soften some of this if I can. Try to get rid of that line visually. But I'm not sure as much I can do now. Maybe that helped a little bit. I can also darken some of this. There. Just create a different shape there. Hey Brent, what's happening? That looks good, man. I think the larger format does something to clarify it somehow. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't know if I clarified anything. I think I made it more complicated than I should have. You are my favorite always with the big heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You are my favorite. Of course. Somebody says you inspire me. Well, I appreciate it. Glad to hear that. Lucas says, hi, watching from China. Wow, pretty cool. Thanks for tuning in. How long have you been painting this one? This looks good. Looks like I've been painting it for about, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes maybe. The stream's been going for about 55 minutes almost, but I've only been painting for maybe 40 minutes or so. Raul Brito says, great job, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Can I do the snow parts without using crayons? Absolutely. Absolutely. You just leave the white of the paper. You just paint around them. That's all. You don't need this wax resist. This is not necessary. It's just a little more difficult because you have to be careful and leave the white of the paper, or use masking fluid. So, but yeah, you can definitely just do it. You can definitely do it without the crayon or whatever. All right, folks, let's finish this thing up, man. I'm sick of this painting already. I want to do something different. So let's finish this. Let's finish this thing up. Sorry, just nitpicking there. A few small areas, trying to lighten them up a bit. There's a lot of contrast here, so I don't want that much contrast, especially towards the edge of the paper. It's not really what I'm going for. I want the contrast to be up here, and then maybe a little bit down here, kind of leading you down, and then boom, contrast down here. Mostly right down here is where the shadows are. So I'm going to put in some I'm going to try to put those in right now so I can kind of gauge how dark I'm going to go. So I'm going to use almost pure pigment, very little water. So I'll show you guys the mixture of how I'm mixing this. I mean, it's almost, you can see, not very watery at all. It's just pigment. So I'm trying to create a very warm, very dark for this foreground. Even though in the photograph it's not that dark, but I'm gonna push it a little bit because I gotta take the risk, man. What am I doing here if I'm not taking the risk, you know? Technically, this is the closest thing to us, so this would be the darkest, but I don't want the dark thing to be off towards the bottom in the corner. So I'm gonna make the darkest thing right about here. So you guys are gonna be surprised how dark this is gonna look. So see that? Really, really nice. I like that. Get some texture in there, some dry brushing if you do it quick enough. That's really cool. Get some variety. See that? Makes it look real natural looking from far away. But up close, it's just some texture. It's just some strokes. See that? Just letting the paper kind of create that texture. But from far away, when you see it across the room or whatever, you're like, wow, that looks really cool, man. Looks like some trees. So, okay, there's a little bit of dark over here, so let's add some of that. Boom. Just to kind of balance out the scene a bit. Give it some continuity or whatever. I don't know. Not an English major. So maybe we'll try to get a little bit lighter as it gets towards the back here, maybe. That's a good question, Brian. So Brian says, meaning you're disappointed with the result or you're just itching to do something different now? You know, I mean, looking at it on the screen, it looks pretty good, actually. You know, I'm not too upset about this one or anything. Like, I'm kind of happy with the result, I think, so far. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just... this isn't my favorite two-color combination. It's kind of dreary. You know, in the past, I used, like, a purple and yellow, and that was a lot of fun. And then I used like a cyan with a magenta, and that was a lot of fun. And this one, a brown and a blue, it's just kind of like, it's just, you know, kind of gray. And I mean, I kind of realized that's what it was going to be. But, you know, I don't know. I guess I'm just crazy, that's all. Getting a little bit warmer there. You see that? It's added some variety. It's really nice. I like that. Rather than it just being straight dark black looking, get kind of a two-tone looking, you know, just I'm glazing that a bit on some of these trees. So really creating a bit of warmth in this scene, and that's really what I want, is some warmth up front. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's what I was planning on doing next anyway, so it's going to add a bit of warmth there. And I ended up doing it accidentally just because there's a lot of paint on my brush. A lot of warm paint. So you guys can see, like I was saying at the beginning, so this mountain, I got it pretty much the color of what it is for the most part, almost. So it's just this gray. There's the photograph again. That's kind of my painting. I mean, not perfect, of course. You're never going to get it perfect. Especially when I'm looking at it on a screen, it's all small, you know. But when people are looking at this painting, they're not going to look at the photograph anyway. They're not going to know what the photograph looks like. So it never has to be perfect like the photograph, you know. it's always good to try to modify. Yeah, I don't have cobalt blue because it's too expensive, honestly. I use ultramarine blue because it's cheaper blue to buy. Someone says, this inspires me to try painting, but I think I'm not good at it. Well, nobody's good at it at the beginning. I wasn't good at it either. And sometimes I create horrible looking horrible, just awful paintings. And they're all over my YouTube channel, man. You go look at all my awful paintings. They're out there. I don't hide them. You know what I mean? Like my whole plein air series so far, I'm 111 plein air adventures in. Probably close to like 130 paintings or 120. Because some episodes I do like 3 or 4 paintings or 2 paintings. And yeah, I'm definitely not every painting is this good or looks like this or is a good outcome. You know, it's always a struggle. It's always, you know, even this one I struggled a bit. You know, I don't know if I got the look that I'm going for. You know, does some of this need to be darker or cooler or warmer? Or, you know, I don't know. The photograph, the trees are a bit darker, but I'm afraid to push that because I like having the depth that I have. So for me, like, you know, part of me is like, I'm just going to leave it. I do want some dark shadows in here going across the grass. If I can get away with it, just to create more sense of light in here. I think that helped a bit. So yeah, guys, this is a little complicated back here. I probably should have just simplified it a bit more. But yeah, I am happy with this result, kind of like the 2 colors. I did like the variety of like temperatures I was able to get. What I'm doing right now, I'm just adding some water back in this area because I basically just want it to be softer. So just adding some water there. Hopefully it'll soften a bit. You know, there's some hard lines over here too, so just softening some of this. Just using straight water. So might soften some of this back here too. All right, I'm on a softening rampage right now. I just want everything to be a bit softer. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. I want more softness in my work. Come on, buddy. My cat keeps trying to jump on my lap down here. She wants to paint too. So the more softness I can get, especially in the background, then more your eye will be attracted to more of these hard edges, and that's what I'm trying to go for. Anyway, so warm down here, cooler, grayer, cool, boom. Let's take this tape off, I guess. At least do that. I wish I could show you guys the other results that I did from my last two color paintings, but people bought them literally the day after I painted them. I don't know if this one's going to sell as quickly, but we'll see. It's not as flattering as a color mixture, color design, but if anybody is interested, I do have paintings and drawings available on my website at schaeferfineart.com. I got some drawings on there, as you can see, and some watercolors. A lot of my watercolors have sold, so people definitely love the watercolors, as do I. But yeah, you can check that out at schaeferfineart.com, and you can also support me on there. If you feel like you want to donate to me, I have PayPal or Venmo. You can buy a t-shirt. It helps me out a little bit. Or you can support me on Patreon. You know, if you want to give me $1 a month or $2 a month or $5, $10, whatever. If you want to only do it for a few months, that's fine. If you want to do it for 2 months or what, you know, it's all up to you. If you don't want to do it at all, that's fine as well. But the option is there. You can find that on my website as well under the support page. So definitely appreciate you guys checking that out. Greatly appreciated. My Patreon right now, I do not have any perks right now. So you don't get any behind the scenes or any other tutorials or anything right now. It's kind of just a way for people to support me if they want to. I think in the future I might do some like exclusive Q&A videos on there if people are interested in seeing stuff like that. Maybe some behind the scenes from my plein air journeys if people are interested in that, you know, or my travel journeys, you know, in the future. But definitely, you know, it's up to you guys. I just started the Patreon, so I probably don't have any supporters on there at all right now. But definitely appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy these kinds of videos. Thank you, John, for the $5. Definitely appreciate it, man. John P says, love the live landscape painting. It helps to see and hear it in real time. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Looks like I missed some other comments here. Brent says, Brandon, I tried to paint a tree the other day, and I literally would have been better off throwing the brush at the surface. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, man. That's how it goes. I have the same problem sometimes. Come on, buddy. Look at this. My cat is up on my table. Come on, man. Stick to my lap if you're gonna be up here. Okay. Bottle up your thought process and your honest self-criticism and sell it. It all adds so much value to these live streams. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I want to know how you achieve success. I think start my YouTube channel is one of the most hardest things, and sometimes I think my paintings are not good. I don't know what to do. You got to just oh man, I bumped the camera. Sorry, guys. You got to just start. I mean, if you really want to be inspired, go on my channel. Not right now, but after the live stream, go on my channel, youtube.com/SchaeferArt. Go to my channel page, click on videos, the videos tab. And then where it says sort by, you can sort by oldest videos first. Go look at my oldest videos of me on camera. Go look at my oldest videos of my paintings, my acrylic paintings. They're awful. They're really bad. I mean, some of them were pretty good back then, but they're really bad compared to what I'm able to do now and the videos that I'm making now. So you got to just start somewhere. You got to just do it, you know. You gotta just do it. You know, you can't worry about success right now. Success is a long-term thing. You know, I still don't even feel like I have achieved success yet because I'm not making a living from what I love to do yet. You know, I'm making some money from it, but can I survive on it? Not yet. My cat can survive on it. You know, my cat can eat pretty well every month because of my art money, but I'm not able to survive on it yet. So that's my goal for my level of success. Success for you might be something different. Success for you might be that you want to create great art. And in that way, I feel like I'm successful because I'm doing what I love. I'm able to do it any day that I want to, and I'm able to create stuff that's pretty good for the most part, that I'm happy with. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's different with success. I feel like I need to darken some of this, guys. It's really bothering me. I don't want to do it though. I don't want to touch it. It just bothers me that it looks lighter than the ground or the same color as the ground, and it shouldn't be and the reason for that is because so check it out. Let me try to explain this. I need something flat. Where is something flat? So this piece of paper, so check this out. So let's pretend like this is the ground. It's flat, right? So the light is hitting it, shining right on it. The sun is up above, shining right down. Let's say this is here, actually, I need to do it on my webcam. So this is the ground plane, right? And the sun is up here, right? Shining down on it. This is the sun, you know, way up here, boom, shining down directly on the ground. So it's receiving a lot of light. The mountain plane is angled like this. See what happened there? See the change in value? So when it's angled See, if I angle it towards the sun, it gets brighter because it's actually coming straight down at it, and then the ground would be a bit lighter. But my point is, if the sun is right up here above it, you're getting the most light. If it's angled like this, it's not getting as much light as the ground would receive. See that? So that's the theory behind these different values that you see in the light. And trees are angled like this. They're straight up and down. So they're going to be even darker. The light areas of the tree are going to be even darker compared to the ground, compared to the mountain, compared to the trees. So that's kind of the theory of how to do a landscape. So there's a shadow in the foreground that might help. Where's the shadow at? I don't see the, what shadow? It's not technically shadows, it's actually a meadow, but you're right. If I create like a shadow over here, the thing is, what would be casting that shadow? I guess it doesn't really matter what would be casting that shadow. You're right though. If I had like some kind of small shadow down here, the problem is, how large do I make it? Do I do it across the whole bottom? It would have to be coming from this side because the light's on this side. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm talking about. So I could do a shadow all at the bottom, but I want it to be larger than this. So I'd have to come out to like here, or shorter. Or do I do it across the whole bottom? Philip says, my edible just kicked in and this explanation is mesmerizing. Oh man, that's hilarious, dude. It's good living in California, isn't it? I don't do that stuff, but that's hilarious. So I could make a long shadow down here. You know what? We only live once, man. You know, I used to live in Davis, California for the past like 6 or 7 years. And Davis, California is in Yolo County. So man, you only live once, dude. So I'm gonna try to put this shadow in here, as Philip suggested, or as Nathan suggested. Nathan is a very great watercolor artist, man. Nathan Dixon, dude. Check him out on Instagram. Dude does some really great work, man. Better than what you're seeing here, that's for sure. I'm just playing around, man, but he does some pretty more detailed, good work, man. So thanks for tuning into my streams, man. I appreciate it. Or suggest some of the blades of grass. I think I'm gonna put in a shadow, man. I think I'm gonna go for it. Because you're right, man. It would create a little bit more depth, possibly. And it would give more dimension, possibly, to the ground plane. I still don't like that these are the same value, as I just explained, because of the mountain should be darker. But if the angle of the sun is different, if the sun is way over, rather than the sun being above, if the sun is more at an angle as maybe it was, the mountain could actually be as light as the ground, depending on the angle of the sun. So there's that too. It's all about angles, folks. Oh man, this is scary. I already took the tape off. I don't want to screw this up, but I'm gonna try to do this. Let's just do it. All right, let's go out to like there. Oh no. Let's just merge these. See if I can make that a bit darker. A little more blue in it. I don't know if this is helping or anything, but. Oh yeah, that's what did it, dude. Thank you for that suggestion. Man, that's what made it. That's what did it. I think it needs a little bit more blue in it, but that just transformed the whole painting. Wow. That was exactly right. I like that, man. That transformed the whole painting. Let me soften some of this because It is in the grass. There's a lot of grass growing. It is greenery, so I want it to be soft. Trees, and see, you have to think the same thing that I just talked about with the values, like the different angles. You have to do the same thing with softness as well. So hard edges, trees are usually like the softest thing. So a lot of softness here, you know. Foliage and stuff is usually very soft compared to rocks and things. Rocks usually have very hard edges. So yeah, I kind of like this. I think it still needs more blue. Because it is a shadow. I'm trying to get that in there. I don't want it to be too dark. And then here I go making it darker. I mean, I need it to be a little bit darker, but not that much, maybe. I don't know. Now I'm probably just messing it up. But that's all right. We'll suggest a little bit of texture over here. Maybe that's what you're talking about. Need some little bit of texture too, up in this foreground. Oh yeah. All right. That's it. That's it, folks. I like that. I like that. Just gotta wait for that to dry, and that's it, man. That's it. Now I'm seeing everything that's just too sharp. I still want to darken some of this. All right, whatever. We'll keep it. We'll keep it. I think this is good. We'll soften some of this. Try to anyway. All right. The painting's edible just kicked in. Hey, no problem, Nathan. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. If you wanna, what is your handle on Instagram, by the way, Nathan? Everybody can see mine in the corner up there, but you should post that, dude. Check out Nathan Dixon on Instagram. He's got some great watercolors, great art. Brent does as well. Brent does some great work as well. Brent Taylor. He does some oils and a little bit of watercolor here and there. Not recently, but he does a lot of portraits and stuff. So, is that a shadow like a row of hedges kind of? Is that a shadow or like a row of hedges kind of vegetation? It's a shadow, man. It's a shadow. But in the actual photo, I think it's like vegetation, you know. But yeah, I'm pretty cool with this. I gotta go eat dinner and my laptop's about to die. I need to plug it in. So yeah, so everybody check out Nathan Dixon Art on Instagram. Check that out. Pretty good artist, man. Really good artist. Same with Brent Taylor. I think his Brent Taylor art, possibly, or Brent Taylor. I don't know, man. They'll find you. They'll find you, I'm sure. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, man. Hope you enjoyed this painting. I'm gonna sign it once it dries and everything. But that's it for tonight. Let me see. Show it to you on the webcam. So there we go. Boom. Look how horrible my webcam is. So yeah, pretty cool. Looks really nice. Looks really nice, I think. So anyway, like I said, you guys check out my website, shaverfineart.com. I got, you know, watercolors. I got things available on there. A few people on the stream have actually supported me, so they can vouch for me that they like my work, man, and it's all good. Philip is one of my supporters and stuff. So other ways to support me as well: PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, blah blah blah. Check out my website; it's on there, the support page. So if you're into that, it's all good. If not, keep watching these videos. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. It'll be a pen and ink. So maybe I might do a space theme pen and ink. We'll draw some kind of like spaceship or something. We'll see what I can find. Anyway, everybody enjoy your weekend. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys sometime. I might do a plein air tomorrow or Sunday or something. So stay tuned for a plein air video soon. Hopefully, I need to find somewhere to go. Anyway, peace. Peace.